action.
With a personality shaped by being an athlete and a background in mainstream sports media, I found that the stories I was most interested in telling were the ones often overlooked, the ones that might not otherwise be told, the ones that show the intangible and not just the highlight reel. The Sports Council is about highlighting the great, the good, the unique, and everything in between in the Pacific Northwest sports world. I'm Jamie Council. Thanks for joining me.
You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, the Tri-Cities leader in sports.
As they close up to them here, but I think Kelly has put himself in lane number 1. He has indeed. Nielsen is sitting in 2. Then it's Peabody in 3. There goes Gunner on the far outside up toward the top of the race course. And in lane number 4 will be Dave Villwock. Nice move by JMK to get that inside lane, Tanner.
Oh, it sure was. We talked about how critical that was for him. He's comfortable on the inside. As we come down to 12 seconds, they're about 3 seconds early around that corner. This is going to be super tight at the line.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark, I don't know if my clock is legal, and if my clock is right, we'll let the start is under review because it looked like maybe we had a couple of crossovers. And Andrews Tate comes across. Now, first boat to get down to the lower end of the race course, J. Michael Kelly. He broke the clock, but was it Earl? And I think he's got Corey coming with him. Yeah, that's Corey coming off the corner. So it is J. Michael Kelly on the inside. He's opened up about a half a rooster tail lead, and I believe that is Corey Peabody that's running with him. I'll tell you what, our third place boat right now up the backstretch is Gunner O'Farrell. He is running in third. Villwock is pulling up alongside of him in fourth, and then it's Jamie Nielsen back in fifth. A white flag this time. Should be the white flag. It flies. Even if they jump the gun, it would still be a white flag because it's a 1-minute penalty, not a 1-lap penalty. Kelly hanging right with him now, Tanner. Doesn't want to let him go.
He sure is. I mean, he's just one skip away. J. Michael Kelly's just one skip away in the water from regaining the lead here. He could pressure his teammate here on the inside, but very respectful between these two. But man, we've got Super Dave sticking it to Nielsen actually, with almost a full rooster lead for third.
Coming off the bottom end of the race course on the fifth and final time around, Corey Peabody now has opened up almost a full rooster tail on teammate J. Michael Kelly, but the question still remains, was the start legal? It appeared as though we had some jumpers. It appears as though some of the boats may have been a little anxious, but we're going to call them the way they are on the water, and the way they are on the water right now is Strong Racing running 1-2, and Corey Peabody is going to come down and apparently collect a victory, at least on the water, in the APBA Gold Cup for 2025. Peabody across first, then it's J. Michael Kelly in second, and we've got a whale of a race coming for third. Up at the top end of the race course, Jamie Nielsen is driving the daylights out of the U11, the flavor pack. He is on the inside trying to run down Dave Villwock, but Dave Villwock is going to come home in third place in the Miss Apollo, the U27. He comes across the start-finish line. Jamie Nielsen with a great run in our final heat, and our fifth boat across the line, Andrew Tate. He was able to pull up on Gunner and get past him. Gunner will come home in sixth, but hold everything, because we are awaiting to hear what the situation was with the start. We knew the start was close. We knew the start was under review. This forward, you got 0.7 of a second there, and it has to show the hash marks. You're not at zero until you see hash marks on the clock. So if we can click that forward, oh boy. How about Nielsen? But you clearly have got two boats across right there. Dead center in the middle, that's Corey Peabody. He's not across yet. Now it's a legal start. Boom. And there it is, right there. You've got the dash marks. All right, so I've got it. I just talked with Jonathan Abbott. Here's the deal. Dave is your official winner. Dave Villwock, the driver of the U27 Miss Apollo, is the winner of the 2025 APBA Gold Cup. And this is just a huge story. A couple of us have been saying for a few years, what if Dave could get another Gold Cup?
Welcome to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports, the 60th running of the Tri-City Water Follies and the APBA Gold Cup. Well, it belongs to you, Dave Villwock. Congratulations.
Who'd have thought? Don't count the old guy out, I guess, huh?
Well, I don't think anybody was counting you out of this one. So with this, it's your 11th Gold Cup. You're already the winningest driver in H1, and now you match Chip Honauer with 11. I saw you on top of your boat holding up a number 11 sign. What does that mean to you, or has it sunk in yet?
It's a special thing for, this is such a special group. The Ratchford family, Apollo, and all of their companies, everybody's about the people. And that's what makes these things work. And I've said that for a long time. I worked in the same industry that Bruce did. And so there's a tribal knowledge in any one endeavor. And this is another one like that. And so we managed to keep a great group of people together, a special group that had both been mentored by myself and Bruce and others, and have come together to put boats out there and make them run so flawlessly all weekend. So it was just a privilege to be involved with that group. They're so involved with the community around here and the race and all of that. It's a great party for the city, and boy, isn't it nice to win. It's my 11th, but it's Bruce's first, and it's at home.
Yes.
Right? It's a couple miles from the shop here. Pretty good.
Couldn't have written a better story on it, and
yeah.
What a crazy final it was. It took us, 30 minutes to find out, where you were celebrating on the dock, but then it became a little longer for it to be official. So walk me through that final race for the Gold Cup.
Well, for me, I normally have a radio guy that knows all of that as it's happening. But of course, the radio came unplugged about after coming up to the start. So it's kind of on my own. And so I came in and says, everybody's celebrating. We must have done pretty good. I knew some people, I thought they were over because I knew I was right there and at the start, and that's what it's all about. And this thing is the start and where you place yourself. And I thought people would be a little messed up there. That's why I did what I did. I chose a lane. I thought I could get there in a timely manner, get there at the right time, consistently, and so we did that again, and this time it paid off. Usually there's some craziness. I thought it'd be actually more crazy than that. I thought people would be parked and people would be doing things, but they didn't do that. So then it just came down to hitting the start. And luckily, we did it better than the other guys, I guess. So that's good.
The start is something that seems so simple, but it's really not, and is so important in a race. Your 68th win, you said don't count the old guy out, and I feel like they were all rearing for it. And what was your mindset? Because sometimes you want to say, they're timing it, and you want to speed up, but you've been doing this long enough to have confidence in yourself, knowing what you have to do to race the race that you want to race, and of course paying dividends today.
So many crazy things happen in the race, especially with this fight for lane thing. It, as you've seen in a couple of the heats where practically everybody got penalized for something. I got penalized a couple of times the first day. And so those crazy things happen. So in the final and over my career, the trick is a lot of times just don't make the mistakes. There's a lot of mistakes to be made. It's easy to make them. And, you try to be clean if you possibly can. And a lot of times it just comes down to that. And luckily, this was our day.
It was your day, and you mentioned it, BWR Racing, their first ever Gold Cup for Bruce Ratchford.
Special.
Super special. Does this one mean anything different than your other ones?
I think this is very much a family. He's very much about the people. He's about the community. And when we started this, Bruce called me up and says, well, here's what I'm thinking about doing, but I need to know before I do anything, will you help? And just because he'd become a friend over last year, more than anything, I says, absolutely, 1,000%. Whatever you want, whatever capacity you want me to work in, I'm there for you, because he was a friend. And then it ended up where was going to be a driver and drive one of the boats. And we bought the Wiggins boat, and all kinds of other stuff. But everybody at the shop's done such a great job, and we are, but the sum of our people, aren't we?
Exactly, and we
that's what Bruce is about.
That same conversation about investing in people, and you are one of the drivers of BWR Racing, but you guys were on the podium both today and, like Andrew Tate said, somehow made lemonade out of lemons today.
Yes, that's right. And one of the first races I won for a guy by the name of Fred Leland, who's a great friend of mine. We were having a tough day. We'd blown the sponson off here. We went to Seattle. We put a whole new sponson on the boat, worked 24 hours a day. Went down, slept on the truck on Thursday. We go in the first day, and we blow up a gearbox, and I'm sitting there going, what else can happen to us? And Dan Walters, the guy at the radio, he came up with a piece of masking tape that says, refuse to lose, and coined it before the Mariners ever did that, refuse to lose. And so we didn't. And we ended up winning that race that day against Budweiser, Smokin' Joe's, and everybody that was somebody. We managed to pull the rabbit out of the hat.
So the Mariners copied you guys, is what you're saying?
I think so. Because Danny was the one that came up with that.
So with this, is there anything else that you want to check off in the sport of boat racing?
No, a long time ago, I quit doing things for me. I think I've been trying to mentor teams, and I helped the Wiggins team, and I helped the Schumacher team, and I'm trying to give back to the sport a little bit and mentor people. That's why Taylor Evans, he's a guy that was mowing the lawns in Issaquah. And a friend of mine said, hey, if you need some help, why don't you call this kid? And he's excited about the sport, and he came over. And we worked on the Schumacher boat, and we worked on the bucket list boat and got it up and fast. And then when this came about, I said, hey, this might be a good deal. And that's what happens in these things. I remember with the Leland thing, I went to drive for Leland, and that, where he said refuse to lose in that year, and because we won 2 races that first year. And, I was there for a couple of weeks, and Dan calls up and goes, hey, what's going on down there? So the next thing you know, the people, these little racing families find each other. Sheet metal industry is the same thing. These little families of these talented people that have like tribal knowledge find each other because they know as a group they're stronger, and their careers will further. And so they do. And it's something that Bruce practices, and it's what has kept him it's a very difficult business that he does. It's all food grade, stainless steel, nuclear, stuff that I did years ago when I started in sheet metal. And that's what Bruce does, and he's managed to keep these people together and make that business thrive. And it's fun to see that.
Well, you are holding the 2025 Gold Cup, the winningest driver. Now you're 11th. Congratulations, and go celebrate and on to Seafair.
Thank you.
Ciao, donut lovers! As our superhero adventure wraps up, we're whisking you away to the flavors of Italy right here in Richland. From July 28th through August 10th, Krispy Kreme brings you Italian-inspired donuts bursting with rich taste and timeless charm. No passport needed. Come take a bite and escape to Italy. Plus, ask how your group or school can raise money. We give back half through our fundraiser program. All at Krispy Kreme, 2805 Dupertail in Richland. Come in with a sweet tooth, leave with a smile.
Is your water softener doing its job? At Soft Water Specialists, we understand the importance of clean, efficient water treatment systems. That's why we offer our annual maintenance program to keep your system running smoothly year-round. Our certified technicians perform a comprehensive checkup and calibration to ensure optimal performance and longevity, finding potential problems before they arise. With Soft Water Specialists, you can say goodbye to water problems and hello to hassle-free maintenance. Visit softwaterspecialist.com or call us today to schedule your service. Soft Water Specialists, because we want to make sure your water is working for you.
The fireworks don't stop on the 4th. McCurley Chevrolet's Red, White, and Vroom sales event is lighting up July with explosive savings. New and used cars, trucks, and SUVs, all priced to move with low lease payments, low APRs, and unbelievable trade-in offers. At McCurley Chevrolet, we don't play games or hike prices. Just fair, transparent, pressure-free buying. Don't wait. Lock in your savings and keep the Red, White, and Vroom spirit alive all July long. McCurley Chevrolet, your way home.
If you've got a winery, brewery, or dairy, why buy industrial parts and supplies from across the country? Central Industrial Sales is your local source for supplies and equipment for the dairy, food processing, winery, and brewing industries. We specialize in custom fabrication, industrial cleaning equipment, sanitary fittings, valves, pumps, chemicals, and many other supplies. Everything's available through our website, by phone, or by dropping by our office. Call 509-375-4032 or find us at centralindustrialsales.com.
You're listening to Jamie Council on the Sports Council.
Welcome back to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. Well, the job is done, and what a long weekend it was, and a very long weekend for race director. I should say a long couple months. Aaron Stevens, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Yes, it has been a very long couple of months.
So I know we've talked about this multiple times, but what is it that you do?
Well, I as a race director, I put on the race. I start out with scheduling. I start with getting everybody organized, coming down with what classes of boats we're going to have with our on-site and our race committee, on water, on site race committee people. It's just been a very long weekend, so excuse me, but it's tiring. This took about 6 months to start to finish on all the hardcore stuff, scheduling with the Corps of Engineers, with the U.S. Coast Guard, the counties, the cities. So it's been a very, very tremendous day, and I'm fortunate and glad it's over.
Absolutely. And now that the Water Follies is over, what's next for you? Because I know this isn't the only duck you have on the pond.
No, it definitely is not the duck on the pond that I have. My next event will be in Brewster, Washington, as the referee for a majority of these boats that you see behind me. We will be racing in Brewster, Washington next month. So with that being said, we got a couple more races to go until the end of the year. And it will be a wonderful experience for all these teams. I hope that they get fixed after some of the carnage that we experienced today. So,
absolutely. So you have a little bit of a break. And overall, on the weekend, what would you say about the racing and how was the 2025 Water Follies from the eyes of the race director?
2025 has been great. It's been a lot of work, but overall, I would say most of it ran really smoothly. There's always a little bit of hiccups here and there. My job is to, if we get a hiccup, that it's not noticed, and we prevailed majority of those, so that makes me proud.
You guys did a great job. Like you said, if people at home don't know it's happening, then it didn't happen, but just little changes. I mean, we saw a crew member get burned, and how do you deal with those situations? There was some bigger situations that you guys did take care of.
Yeah, so in that situation, one of the things that we do is safety is utmost for prudent, and the coordination that we have with local paramedics. So the paramedics are on site. We have a doctor, we have medical staff, nurses were here. So he was taken care of literally within 5 minutes of the accident happening, and that's what it was an accident. So we were ready to go and take care of him. So it was one of those things where he's safe and recovering from his accident.
Something that a lot of people don't really see behind the curtain of is if there are penalties, that there is a driver's rep that represents in H1 if a driver goes to them, kind of a third party. And we did see that, and we saw an N2 violation. So can you just break down what it is having a driver's rep and an N2 violation, that what we saw at the Water Follies that was a big point to the Gold Cup?
So the one of those is there's two separate things. The N2 violation is where the boats are using too much fuel for their motors. So they're set to a gallon per minute for fuel. So that's where they end up, went over their gallons per minute. So they got a disqualification on that. Now, for when you call or you have an infraction on the race course, what it is the driver's rep is there to represent the drivers and communicate with the race officials. So if the driver can't just go and yell at the race officials, they use a driver's rep for communication. So that way it's a neutral party in the communication of sometimes aggression, sometimes, somebody got cut off and they got a penalty and they didn't think it was the right call that the officials made. So the driver's rep represents the driver, goes and talks to the official and pleads their case. And sometimes that does get turned. In one of our smaller classes today, that did happen where the ruling on the race course was overturned after review from some video. And video footage, drone footage has helped us tremendously. And a lot of people say it's bad, but it has helped more drivers and saved more drivers from infractions than it has penalized them. So.
And you being a referee, you kind of know that even though a driver might have a very valid reason, pointing at you is not the right way to go about it.
Correct. Yeah. Coming and pointing at me will get you into a little bit more trouble.
Absolutely. And we saw that in the H1 Unlimited. Andrew Tate had the N2 violation, as well as Tate did use the driver's rep to get lane violations on the two Strong Racing boats. So a lot goes on behind the curtains to make sure the races are fair. And final question here, you are a volunteer for the Water Follies. You do so much. Not everything is going to go right, as we saw this weekend. A lot of it out of your control. Seeing it all come together despite those, what does that mean to you?
It means, I got to thank all my team. The whole entire team, the Tri-City Water Follies team, did a job well done. Overall, it was a job well done by the Tri-City Water Follies team. I cannot take credit for all the hard work that has been put into this event.
Well, thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you.
Again, that is Aaron Stevens, race director of the Tri-City Water Follies. When we come back on the Sports Council, we'll catch up with Darrell Strong of Strong Racing, talking about what he does not to help just H1, but help the sport of boat racing. That interview when we come back on the Sports Council, 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports.
If you've got a winery, brewery, or dairy, why buy industrial parts and supplies from across the country? Central Industrial Sales is your local source for supplies and equipment for the dairy, food processing, winery, and brewing industries. We specialize in custom fabrication, industrial cleaning equipment, sanitary fittings, valves, pumps, chemicals, and many other supplies. Everything's available through our website, by phone, or by dropping by our office. Call 509-375-4032 or find us at centralindustrialsales.com.
Ciao, donut lovers! As our superhero adventure wraps up, we're whisking you away to the flavors of Italy right here in Richland. From July 28th through August 10th, Krispy Kreme brings you Italian-inspired donuts bursting with rich taste and timeless charm. No passport needed. Come take a bite and escape to Italy. Plus, ask how your group or school can raise money. We give back half through our fundraiser program. All at Krispy Kreme, 2805 Dupertail in Richland. Come in with a sweet tooth, leave with a smile.
The fireworks don't stop on the 4th. McCurley Chevrolet's Red, White, and Vroom sales event is lighting up July with explosive savings. New and used cars, trucks, and SUVs, all priced to move with low lease payments, low APRs, and unbelievable trade-in offers. At McCurley Chevrolet, we don't play games or hike prices. Just fair, transparent, pressure-free buying. Don't wait. Lock in your savings and keep the Red, White, and Vroom spirit alive all July long. McCurley Chevrolet, your way home.
Soft Water Specialist salutes the Water Boy. Your teammates may not always give you the respect you deserve for the service you provide, but we do. If they only knew the same great tasting water from Soft Water Specialist makes their towels softer and uniforms brighter, they might see things a little different, just like you. Soft Water Specialist salutes the Water Boy.
That's some high quality H2O right there.
Listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, the Tri-Cities leader in sports.
Welcome back to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. We're joined by Darrell Strong, owner of Strong Racing, and normally we're talking about the big boats. We see the Gold Cups behind you, but besides the U8 and U9, what boats does Strong Racing either own or sponsor?
We own a 5-liter, so that'd be a 350. It would be right below the Grand Prix. We own one of those that Corey drives, but it's apart right now. Hopefully next year we'll be racing it. We probably sponsor 8 to 10 other boats.
what got you into those smaller sponsorships? Because of course you started out as a sponsor before you were an owner. So has it always been hydroplanes or H1 and gone down from there? Or what is your story as an owner of kind of where the sponsorship, where expanding your horizons, if you will, started?
Yeah, we only did an unlimited boat when we were sponsors, and then we became owners. The thing was, if somebody on our crew owned a boat, we tried to sponsor it. So that's how it started. And then if one of our drivers was driving a boat, we tried to sponsor it, which is hard because J. Michael Kelly drives everybody's boat. So it's like try to keep up with him. But no, and then it got more and more. We go to smaller races and we get to know more and more people. And they're all like family to us. And so, and I will say one thing, Bruce Ratchford, who's coming to the sport now, he's already sponsoring one smaller boat. So he's starting to do like what we're doing, which is, yes, I think, really nice.
You are really setting the standard of what it means to be an owner, that you aren't just, hey, how can we make this go the fastest we can, the big rooster tails, which, don't get me wrong, everybody loves to see that. That's what got you involved in the sport growing up in the Tri-Cities. But from your perspective, why is it so important to branch out, to support the smaller boats and go to these other races that, frankly aren't H1?
Well, number one, we can't put on a show by ourselves with H1. We need boats on the water all afternoon. And so these other classes are very important. And they have a fan base too. And they're just, I don't know, they're just so in love with the sport. They're doing it for nothing, you know what I mean? And they're out there, and it's just really, we want to help them, and I think we all live and die together, and really, if anything, it feels like there was a little bit of a gap between unlimited, H1 Unlimiteds and the rest of the racing. We're trying to close that up. Okay. And so it's really interesting. You go all the way up to Montreal. Valleyfield actually is about 30 miles west of Montreal. And they all know who I am. I was not expecting that. So, but it was, and they got me a VIP place to watch the races, but I just stayed in the pits because that's where I'm more comfortable.
Yeah, it's humbling to see that you have made so many strides in the sport and people notice. And the second part of that, besides what you mentioned, kind of closing the gap and making sure, boat racing is boat racing. It's a family, like you mentioned. But it's also developing the next wave of drivers. You're not just going to take a guy off the street. Oh, you want to drive an unlimited? No, they're going to start in the J boats. They're going to be driving those. So that's kind of the second part to all of this that I want to get to, is you are being a driving force and developing the next stage of drivers that can handle driving in an unlimited. So you're giving yourself a bigger talent pool for your boats.
Yeah, and we bought 4 T-boats, which would be like a 1-liter type hull with a little smaller inboard. It'd be the smallest inboard, and you can race them when you're 13. And they go 85 miles an hour. So we bought 4 of those and gave them away. And so our only stipulation is whoever we gave them to, when they were done, would have to give them to somebody else.
Where can people follow Strong Racing?
We are on strongracing.com. We made that real easy. Facebook, and I don't know what the other platforms are. I'm too old.
All of them. All of them.
Yeah.
Just find Strong Racing. You guys are easy to find. Very recognizable logo. Darrell Strong, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Well, that wraps up this week's show of the Sports Council. Thank you for joining me on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports. A reminder, the Sports Council happens 4 times a month, 11:30 a.m. on Thursdays. You can listen to this show not just over the airwaves at 11:30 on Thursdays, but also on demand at 1340ESPNradio.com via podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts, just search for the Sports Council, and it's also available via YouTube. So lots of ways to listen to the Sports Council and support our local sports community. Until next time, I'm Jamie Council. Now we go back to your originally scheduled Seattle sports program.